Thank you for listening to this podcast from TRE, Talk Radio Europe, your voice in Spain and around the world. For more information, please visit tre.radio.
Keep your musical puns coming in about haircuts. Morning, Mark. How are you, mate?
I'm doing good.
I bet you are, yeah. I bet you are.
Besides it being a bit wet over here, I think it's been a good weekend.
Yes, it has. Yes, if you're a Man United fan, we'll get to that in a moment. Let's start off with Barcelona women beating Real Madrid in the Spanish Super Cup.
Yeah, Barcelona women, they beat them 2-0 in the Super Cup, which is just really, it's adding another trophy to their dominant run. I mean, really, they are the team to beat in women's football. Yeah. And it's good to see, because women's football is continuing to deliver big moments. And it reminds us of earlier in the window when Barcelona men's team also won the Supercopa de España. Yeah. So it's a good day for both Barcelona teams.
Yes, Barcelona, both of them doing well, women and the men, of course, and Barcelona, the men getting a win at the weekend as well, as Real Madrid, of course, getting a win. So La Liga stays as it was. Thank you very much. Premier League, so 1 point in it actually in La Liga, I believe. Barcelona ahead and Real Madrid in second place. Moving to the Premier League, it's been a very good weekend of football, I must admit. West Ham versus Sunderland to start off with, and I thought that was a great match.
Yeah, we were talking about next week how that win could go inspire them on to really take on this relegation battle by the horns. And they certainly did. They showed up to Sunderland, who've been one of the highlights of the season, and they did damage early and just never really looked back. They had such a strong tempo, clinical finishing, and it was just a reminder of the quality West Ham can have at home. And Sunderland, they're still competitive. They're recovering their players from AFCON. So, but just defensively, they were just a bit vulnerable, and that's what West Ham took advantage of.
No, yeah, absolutely. So well done to West Ham, and with Nottingham Forest getting a win as well means they're still in the they would have been anyway, still in the relegation zone. But at least you can't. The managers always say, "Look, we can't focus on what other teams are doing. We just need to win ourselves," and that's exactly what they did. So well done to them. What about? I didn't get this score at all. I missed it completely over the weekend. Burnley versus Spurs.
Yeah, it was 2-2 and kind of Spurs the save at the last moment. We talked last week about their performance against West Ham, and their problem isn't having the ball, because they do have a lot of it. They just don't know how to really finish the job when they have it. So Burnley refused to lie down. They came back twice, and it was nearly their day. But I guess it's an idea of Tottenham just not being ruthless enough against the lower table sides, not to go against Burnley or West Ham, but really these two matches have just been so frustrating to watch, because they have so much of the ball, but they just really don't know what to do with it.
No end product really for Tottenham Hotspur at the moment, although they have bought a new player, haven't they, recently? We shall see if that has any effect on them. Moving on to Man City against Wolves. I watched this as well. I watched part of it, and I noticed that Pep Guardiola, big call, kept Haaland on the bench, didn't start him, and is it Doku as well? So that was a change around, and it seemed to work for City.
It did. It was a routine professional match from Man City. Wolves defended well early on, but I think City's pressure was just eventually too much. And, by the end of the game, City were really in cruise control. It was nothing spectacular, but it was efficient. And that's what you need to do in these matches, is just be efficient, get the job done. And on a weekend where their main contenders drop points, Man City and Villa both just had efficient performances, and that's what you need.
Absolutely, and we'll get on to that one in a moment. Of course, Bournemouth v Liverpool. Didn't see that one coming either. Liverpool struggling at the moment.
I think this is the shock of the weekend officially. I think we're fairly safe saying that. But Bournemouth, it was just such a fearless display. It's the kind of display that reminds you why you love football, because being able to outscore Liverpool in just a breathless game, it was just so much happening in it. But it was also packed with defensive errors that coupled that attacking quality. And Liverpool had a phenomenal free kick goal as well. But I think what it is that Liverpool's defensive issues are continuing to glare. That's not trying to take away anything from Bournemouth, because they absolutely deserve, credit. But serious questions are being asked of that back line.
Yeah.
And it's going to have to be, I guess, rejuvenated in the summer, because last summer it was really the attacking that got all the fun. So maybe defence needs to be given some attention.
I think they're missing Trent Alexander-Arnold. What do you think?
I think so, yeah. And word is that he's not too happy in Madrid, or maybe Madrid aren't too happy with him. So maybe there could be a sensational move back. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? But just what I love about the Premier League, I mean, maybe go back about 5 years ago, and when City were absolutely dominant, maybe you had top 3 or 4 teams that were just winning all the time. But this, it seems to me now anybody can beat anybody on the day. A Forest can get a draw against Arsenal, that sort of thing. And Bournemouth beating Liverpool. I think that's what makes this league one of the best in the world, if they're not the best in the world.
I don't know if you saw this, but there was like a stat, I think, when Wolves got their first win, that every single team has beaten or lost someone. It was like this wonderful picture of like this full circle of showing which team beat every other team, and it shows that like every team has so far lost this season, and who's won. I think it was Wolves who were like the last team to win. It was a cool little stat, but you're right. And that Aston Villa match was just fantastic as well.
Yeah,
we keep talking about them as potential contenders, and they're right up there. I think the Leeds, the title now is dropped to 4 points, and so it's really all to play for. And Aston Villa were just ruthless on the counter attack.
They're brilliant, aren't they?
They soaked up massive amounts of pressure from Newcastle, who, to be fair, did miss 2 really massive opportunities. There was a point where the goal was open and Anthony Gordon sent it flying. But I think all the same, Newcastle just lacked creativity and a bit of urgency, and Villa just continued to look like the European contenders we've classified them as.
They've had a great season, and it wasn't a great start. Do you remember for Aston Villa? We were all saying, what, even is the manager going to stay? It's just amazing.
It took them 3 or 4 matches to even score a goal.
Yeah.
So
just brilliant.
Yeah, there was massive questions.
Just shows you, though, really how our season can turn around like that. Let's talk Arsenal v Man United. I've got to say, what a match. I had it down as a draw. I said to my friend who's an Arsenal fan, I said, I think I'm fancying a draw because United got the wind in the sails. Great win against City, of course. I mean, you couldn't wish for anything better, could you, as an interim manager of Man United right now?
It's been 13 days. 13 days, and I was talking to my friend last night. I was like, I don't know what magic potions Michael Carrick has been feeding that team, but they look completely different altogether. And I mean, you have to know that, yeah, of course Arsenal have lost across the portion of the year, but it's so rare to see a team go to the Emirates.
3 goals going in. 3 goals going in the Emirates.
They're the only team to score more than 2 this season at the Emirates in the league. And they're one of the only teams to walk away with a victory, and with some pretty prestigious competition in that category as well. So it was so rare to see a Man United team play with that ferocity, that aggressiveness, that resilience, and they were quite quiet for the first 30 minutes, and they just let Arsenal play at them. And then once that goal went in off Martinez, a switch flicked in them. They just became so aggressive and so clinical, and they just turned it on. And I remember watching the last 10 minutes when Arsenal got that equaliser, and it was 2.5 minutes of just, it was so different from when the United team under Amorim would concede a goal. It would look so flat. You'd have the players looking down,
playing for the draw maybe even, but it never came into even when he brought on his name's not in my head, the striker for Man United, and he did a substitution. I'm thinking he's not playing it safe here. He's going for it.
Yeah, and it was such a breath of fresh air to see that difference in mentality in that team, and this definitely is a result I feel we'll be talking about as the weeks go on, because this could have massive title implications, just on form and the mental position of Arsenal having dropped I think it was at 1 point 7 or 8 points. So it's certainly a game changer for Arsenal.
It looks like, I mean, Man United look completely different. It just shows you how much is on the leadership of a team. for Carrick to come in, same players, same everything, and yet he's getting a tune out of them. And it just seems, I mean, yesterday while I was watching it with because I hate to say this, but me and my son, we're not that keen on Arsenal. So we were watching it, hoping United would win. And when they got the equaliser, George was like, oh no. I said, you know what, just hold on, I think United might go for this. And they did. And of course it was a fantastic goal as well. Arsenal looked shaken. They looked visibly shaken by it all.
Yeah, some players had their hands up in the air once. I mean, it's hard to stay right after an 86-minute goal, but what you have to remember is I think there's 7 minutes of extra time. I mean, there's been a lot of extra time in this match. So at that point, I mean, they still had 10 minutes left in the match. And someone brought up a really good point that, really the only thing that they could take out of their basket was the set pieces. They do the corner. And to be fair, it got them back into the game with the second goal. But when your best isn't good enough, you have to find that extra gear, that extra level. We've seen City do it this year as well, that when they haven't been playing at their best, they have something to offer to throw off the opposition. And that's something that we should have seen out of Arsenal in this game. And there's been some very close calls this season with matches that have just went their way. And I mean, this is just the case of the ball finally dropping, that, cutting it close was just too much this time. So it's a lesson for them, certainly.
Right, Mark, okay, let's look at the Super Bowl and what's going on there.
Yeah, we had the AFC and NFC divisional championship games, and before I talk about the games, I want to share an interesting stat. I found that 100% of the head coaches in the divisional championship games were called Mike or Sean. We had Mike McDaniel, Mike Fabrel, Sean McAvoy, and Sean Payton. So
that's a lot of Irish in there. Sounds like.
Yeah. If you had a head coach named Mike or Sean, you were destined for the divisional game, it seems. But we had the Patriots versus the Broncos. The first, of course, Bo Nix went out against the Buffalo Bills. I mean, many people were saying that the Broncos had lost that game in Buffalo, really, when Bo Nix had that ankle injury. So Jared Stidham filled in for him against the high-flying Patriots, who are under Mike Vrabel now, with Drake May and just rejuvenated. An interesting stat behind that is the Patriots have only ever had 3 QBs go to the Super Bowl that are not Tom Brady. So that tells you how dependent they are on Tom Brady to get to the Super Bowl. And it's been 6 years, I think, 5 years since they've been in the playoffs. But it's been a long time without Tom Brady. So to win that game, it was very close. In the fourth quarter, it was in Colorado. Snow just came pouring down, and a bad interception was made by a bad throw was made by Jared Stidham, and the Patriots capitalized and put them in a great position. And it was a tough loss for the Broncos, but I mean, to be honest, to where they were 3 years ago, this is a massive improvement under Sean Payton. And then the Seahawks and Rams game, unfortunately, the Rams came very close. 4 points would have got them to the Super Bowl, but it's honestly, it's not a bad season either for them. I mean, they were going up against a ferocious Seahawks team that have that double-headed snake, and they have Kenneth Walker, they have Cooper Kupp. I mean, they have Sam Darnold, who's on this career resurgence. I mean, it was just a team full of so much talent, and they fought very well, especially because the Seahawks nearly threw away the game there when unsportsmanlike conduct call was met against them when the Rams were 4-12.
Yeah.
The Seahawks player was talking to the bench, and he basically handed them that opportunity that gave the Rams their final touchdown, and it was nearly their day. But the Seahawks this year are just they're just a different beast. So now we have the Patriots and the Seahawks lining up once again, a Super Bowl matchup we once had against Russell Wilson and Tom Brady, where the Seahawks passed on the 1 yard line instead of throwing. So it's going to be a very exciting Super Bowl.
Yeah, okay. And what about the darts? And can you do 1 minute on the darts if that's okay, Mark, please?
Yeah, that's no problem. Michael van Gerwen won the 2026 Bahrain Darts Masters, which is a welcome change for him. He had probably an underwhelming World, so he was looking to bounce back, and it was a tough competition because Van Veen was also in the final. He's been on fire this year. He had a very good end to last year, a very good start to this year with going to the World's Final. But Michael van Gerwen walked away with it, and it's a big win for him, and I think it's signaling a competitive 2026.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mark, as always, for bringing us up to date on all that's going on in the sports world.
You've been listening to a TRE production. If you've enjoyed this programme, there'll be another episode waiting for you next week, right here on this platform, where you can also access our extensive back catalogue of shows and interviews. For more information on our live programming, social media channels and apps, and how to contact Talk Radio Europe, please visit TRE.radio.